Today we'll be putting them out on a 3500 HD Z71. First things first, you're going to want to remove the valance on the front, the plastic cover, all the clips need to come out. Now with the valance removed, you'll be able to start running your wiring across the front of the truck over in through the engine compartment. You're going to want to remove the inner fender well on the driver's side. The small screws are all going to have to be removed, and the mud flap. When removing the headlight, you get down to the very top connector, pop the red clip back, use a straight screwdriver to push down on the back of the clip, and with your other hand you're going to want to pull that back. This is the OEM connector that you're going to be cooking your wires to on your headlight adapter. You need to do it on driver's side and passenger side. Use the terminal grease that comes in the kit with the Boss dielectric grease. Put some on each end of the connector to ensure that no corrosion is going to get in there. Now with both light adapters installed on the driver and passenger side, you're now ready to lay out the Boss headlight wiring. They have two different styles. They have a new integrated style that's a nice weather pack seal, or they have the old traditional 5 relay. You're going to want to remove this bracket right here to get your wiring underneath it so it's not exposed and going over the top of the valance. We want to go underneath that plastic. You're going to remove both of them, driver's side and the passenger side over there. Takes a 13 millimeter socket. Get those out of there, and then they'll be reinstalled when you're done. With the bracket removed, you can now pull your wire harness all the way down out the front. It's going to come across. You're going to tie it all the way across the front of the radiator top support, and it'll go over into the passenger side so we can hook up to that primary battery. You're going to want to mount these relays in a vertical position down by the battery box, power distribution box. You want to mount them in the vertical location. You don't want them laying on their side. Water's going to get in there and corrode the back side of the relays, and they'll be junk. I made this handy little bracket. It's going to be fixed onto the battery box by using this bolt right here, and then it'll come across this area right here with some machine screws. Now we're ready to mount the solenoid. When you're ready to mount the solenoid, you're going to want to remove this stud right here. Take that top nut off, and then there's a bottom double stud you're going to remove, and drill a 3/8 hole in the middle of your solenoid bracket. Bend it flat so it's going to sit like this. You're going to bolt the solenoid down to the base. Put your stud in. Work it down with your impact. Then connect your black wire, your ground wire, and your cap nut. You're going to want to assemble this also with dielectric grease on the ground, on the small stud, both small studs, your power and your function going out to the plow. With the solenoid terminal grease on all sides of your solenoid, go ahead and torque them down. Now that we've got the wheel liner exposed, you got to remove the wheel liner on the driver's side. If you don't, there's going to be some brake lines and some electrical stuff in here that you could possibly potentially drill through. You're going to go in between the wire harness and the bottom of the brake lines through the floorboard. You need to also watch out inside. There's a shift cable. When you protrude through the firewall, you could possibly hit it. There's a gray connector underneath the dash, left hand side of the brake pedal. You're going to want to pull this connector out Look in the back. They're 1 through 7, left to right. And then the bottom row is 7 through 14. The one on the, you're gonna go to pin cavity 13, which is a very small one on the bottom row. Pin 13. You'll have to crimp that yourself and strip back the boss wire with the tap fuse. And you're gonna cut it, put a Metro Pack connector on it, install it into the 13 pin cavity. See the very small numbers underneath there? It's hard to see, but they're there. Once you get that connector in, put it back into place, snap it in, and you're good to go with your accessory wire. This is the sheet we're gonna look at right here. 13 is the pin that you're gonna be using. That's your run, crank, ignition, 1. Once you get your truck up on the hoist, you're going to want to remove all these 9/32 screws, 7mm screws. Get all those out. This splash air dam needs to have the bolts removed out of it. And then the small 9/32 bolts, or 7mm bolts, need to be removed underneath the bottom of the valance so you can get your plow mount up in there. Once you get all the screws out, pull the valance down on the front, remove the 2 toll hook bolts on each side, replace them with the 1/2-inch bolts, and then put your bracket up there. Mounting bracket, this on the outside, the gusset facing passenger side. Same thing over here on this side. Once you get the air dam off the bottom, you're going to drill these 2 holes out to 3/8. You plunge straight up through, and then use the wire fish. They send 2 of them in the kit. Drop them down through this hole, put regular standard nuts on them, and then tighten them up to torque.